Good afternoon. So, I decided, awkward pause, I decided it would be more exciting if I got on video and told you about my up-and-coming projects instead of just writing a long Facebook post about it. So, this will be on YouTube and on Facebook, obviously, and you can comment to your heart's delight on both places. So, a lot of you have probably heard the next book that I will be releasing is called The Lightwood Legacy. It is just a kind of fantasy thriller. It's set in modern day, kind of like the Fallen Ones, but it's not the same religious content or anything, and it's not just all romance. It's completely separate from anything I've already done before. I had written it before I even started the Things We Can't Change series, so I will be releasing that. It is not a standalone, it has a sequel, but I won't be working on that or releasing it till 2015. It doesn't end with a huge kind of cliffhanger the way my other books have. At least I don't think so. Just with kind of things up in the air, so there's not as much anticipation. So that's what's going on with that book. I will be making a separate video maybe to tell you about it if you guys are interested in that. And then of course there are teasers and stuff, and I've already done the cover reveal when Part 5 came out. The next book that I know a lot of you are waiting for is Messenger, which is book 3 in the Fallen Chronicles. That one will be releasing later this fall. I know I had originally said at the end of Protector that I was hoping to get out in early summer. That did not happen because I was spending so much time on the Things We Can't Change, so I was not able to devote as much time to that as I wanted. So I'm still, right now, in the process of writing it, and for some reason, those ones always take me so much longer. Not really to write, a little bit just because of the length, they're longer to write, but the editing on that takes a long time. I go through it very carefully, and my personal edits usually take a lot. I'm trying to be more careful when I write it to know exactly what I want, so I don't have to go back through and do like this major overhaul on it. But now I'm thinking it will be in fall, October, possibly November. I'm hoping not. I have a date in mind that's significant because of stuff that happens in the book, but it's kind of late, so I'm kind of fighting the artisticness of releasing it on that important date in the book or putting out earlier, but it really kind of depends on when it's done. The next projects that I have not even started, but will come after I finish Messenger, and basically I'll be working on them while other people are editing Messenger. It takes them a while to get through those books because they're so long. I will be writing another summer novella. It's not really going to be a novella. The main complaints that I get about the Summer I Gave Up Boys is that it's too short. So this one, when I went back in to plot it a little bit more, it ended up getting to be a little bit longer. It's called The Summer I Got Back with Cooper Grace, and it's another just kind of summertime fun story, very light, nothing deep, no paranormal creatures, just a contemporary romance. The name is kind of self-explanatory, a little bit of what it's about. I don't want to reveal too much because it's so far off and I don't want to spoil anything. Again, if you want individual videos talking about a few more of these projects, that's fine, just let me know. So I will be working on that. It'll be a quick write and edit and everything, so that will probably come out even before Messenger's done, maybe at the end of summer when we're all sad that summer's ending, except for those of us in the working world where it doesn't really matter. Whatever. After I finish with those, I have had an idea for a contemporary romance series. It would take place in Florida. Oh, I think I forgot to say, I was going to say more about The Summer I Got Back with Cooper Grace. It is not any kind of sequel or anything with The Summer I Gave Up Boys. It's new cast of characters, new everything. These summer romances aren't supposed to be connected or sequels or anything. They're just kind of, the name is the gimmick. But I think most of you know that Kalia, I mentioned she went to Lemon Bay High School, and I kind of thought of this series, and there would be mostly standalone kind of things, but with the same characters, so you could read them in any order, that I'm kind of thinking about just when I finish writing the Fallen Chronicles, something to kind of get my mind off of that heavy kind of stuff, just something light and fun. Okay, and then the series, I think this is what most of you are probably watching this video for, is the Things We Can't Change Spin-Off. Slash Kenny and Joby? I don't even know. Jenny and Kobe. I don't know. Kenny and Joby. That's like the ugliest set of names I have ever conceived in my life. Jenny and Kobe, they will be getting their own story. Like I said at the end of part 5, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to write this. I have other commitments basically that I need to write first, starting with Messenger, and then I have to finish the 4th book. I want that one to be ready to go so that you guys aren't waiting on it, so that you're going to have a big wait for Messenger, so I don't want there to be as big of a wait for book 4. So I have to finish that out first. I have to nail some things down about the Likewood Legacy Part 2. I want to write The Summer I Got Back with Cooper Grace first, just because that's been kind of wanting my attention for a while. And another big reason is that I have to sink into a certain headspace when I write these things we can't change books. And right now I need a break from that. I think people don't realize that as a writer, it's kind of like an actor. You kind of have to be your characters for a while when you're writing their story. And, you know, most of us are writing just romances where the main characters could be us, more or less. But with these things, we can't change stories. Evie and Zeke are very different from me and from my life. As you can probably see, Evie and Zeke are not happy, sunshine, rainbows in a guest cottage in Florida outside of a pool. So, Jenny and Kobe's story obviously isn't going to be as dark as Evie and Zeke's. They aren't wrestling with the same kind of issues, the same turmoil and grief and past, but they do have their own things. It is still a very emotionally involved book. I would say more on Jenny's side than Kobe's, to be honest at this point. I don't even know what Kobe's side of the story completely is, but I can tell you I really like how the story is going to play out, because it's going to actually start at the same point as Evie and Zeke's and carry on through their entire story and go to after. So you will get to see sides of the things we can't change Evie and Zeke's story in this one. Just little kind of deleted scenes, I would call them. And then even some after that would be between where the things we can't change, the last chapter ends in the dance studio, and their epilogue. Kind of how they got to their colleges and stuff like that. That kind of thing. So after I write Jenny and Kobe's story, I am going to write one about Dominic. An idea came into my head about who to hook him up with, and I just knew I had to write it. And honestly, I didn't want to do any kind of spin-off from the series, because I felt like, especially in the indie world, people write a series and all of a sudden, spin-off, spin-off, spin-off. There's just spin-offs everywhere. But then Jenny and Kobe and Dominic just kind of came into my head, and it started manifesting, and I knew that I had to do it. But I won't tell you who Dominic ends up with, because it will totally ruin the surprise. It's like the last person ever you would guess. I will say right now it's not Tessa. I've gotten some comments to that effect. Tessa's gone. I never liked her when I created her. She's probably the most hated person in that series to me. More so than Clarissa, than Tiffany, than anyone. I didn't even like writing about her because I hated her so much. Hate is a strong word, but I really, really don't like her. And then, yes, there will be a Things We Can't Change spin-off. However, it is not a spin-off taking place anywhere near the same time as the Things We Can't Change. It will actually feature Evie and Zeke and everyone else very distantly, and I don't want to say how now, because I'm still working out some of the details. I have the girl of the series mostly pinned down, but not the boy. I still don't know what his issues and everything. But that series is very deep and will be kind of along the same lines. Different issues, of course, but the same kind of deep story that Evie and Zeke had written in parts the way that theirs were, while Jenny and Kobe and Dominic and their stories will be standalone-ish romances with no sequels for them. But the spin-off, what am I trying to say here? I've totally lost my train of thought. It's going to feature Evie and Zeke, but in very small, almost cameo-ish kind of ways, I would say. So it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with them, and yet it does. I'm not doing a very good job. I'm being very cryptic. Tony also does not, oops, shook my camera, does not totally disappear from the story. Obviously he's dead, but his memory, kind of, I would say, kind of plays into this story. Again, I can't say, I'm being very cryptic, but trust me, it all comes together, and it is very cool. When it finally occurred to me, I was kind of one of those moments where you're amazed at your own brilliance. I know, tooting my own horn. What can I say? It also, basically, the reason that I think that one will be written very far off into the future, probably won't even start it until like the end of next year, is because, like I said, you have to fall into a particular headspace to write those kinds of stories, and I just don't have it in me right now to sink into that and start that right away, even after I finish my other stuff, Messenger, Book 4, the other things. I just want to wait a while before sinking that into that and basically write them kind of almost all at once, so you don't have the weights that you did like you did with the things we can't change, and so that I don't have to drag the process out over 6 months of writing all of them. I tend to box myself in with my deadlines because I want to get things to you guys so quickly, but I need to take a step back and remember and do what's better for me also, because I unfortunately do still have a job outside of writing. I wish that I didn't, but it's not something I can support myself on. That would be a dream come true, obviously, but I have other family commitments and job commitments, especially around Christmas time. I work in retail, so I'm kind of, writing unfortunately has to play second fiddle to my real life. So those are my projects that I will be writing eventually. There is also another big series that I want to start sometime after I finish the Fallen Chronicles, but I don't have a lot to say on that at this point because I need to obviously get some of these other standalone things out of the way first. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you want some more videos instead of just regular boring old Facebook updates, and I hope that all of you are excited for the Lightwood Legacy and for Messenger, and I hope you all enjoyed part 5. I hope that you love the conclusion to the series as much as I did. It's one of my best works ever, I think, and I can't wait to top it eventually with another series, and with Messenger, and with the conclusion to the Fallen Chronicles, and any other series that I write. Thank you all so much for reading, and for watching, and for being my fans. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to go jump in the pool and work on some Messenger plot kinks. Bye!